Hey friends, I'm back with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about City of Heroes. And you may ask, hey Fez, why the brightly colored shirt with ducks on it? Well, have you ever seen the video about the duck story? Look that up sometime, but it has nothing to do with why I'm wearing this shirt. City of Heroes is full of very colorful characters, and sometimes they will make sort of a civilian look for themselves, their secret identity, as you will, and often that will be just as colorful and wild as their superhero costume. So this is my secret identity. I'm wearing a loud Hawaiian shirt with ducks on it. So anyway, hopefully it won't be too distracting during the filming of this video. But this is one of my favorite shirts, even though I don't wear it that much. I purchased it because of the whole duck story video that's out there. One of my favorite goofy videos out there. So anyway, let's talk about City of Heroes, shall we? First, City of Heroes is a game that came out, I believe it was in around 2005. If I'm wrong, I think I got at least the around part correct. I think it was around then, and it was a really fun game. I played it when it came out, and to my extreme sadness, it was pulled. It was removed. All the servers were shuttered, and we no longer had City of Heroes. But a few years back, City of Heroes came back to life. There were indie servers similar to P99 with EQ that started popping up. And Homecoming was one of the more popular ones, and they managed to get officially licensed not that long ago. And you could play City of Heroes for free now, completely free to play. I've been playing it for several years now, actually. And I thought I'd make a video on how to download it and install it and all that good stuff, and how to get to playing the game. First, you want to go here. It's forums.homecoming-getting-started/. So you could see it up here. You could probably just do a Google search for City of Heroes Homecoming getting started, and you'll find this. It'll probably be the very first thing that shows up. You've got to create an account for their forum, and I've already done that. As you could see, I'm logged in here as Fezzelwig, and you just want to scroll down here, and it has everything you need. It has all the information you need. It has the download for the launcher right there that you could download. Again, it's all free. You don't have to pay for a single thing. I think they take donations to keep the servers alive, and that's it. And so I would encourage, if you do end up playing it and falling in love with it, as I've always been in love with the game, is to donate to them once in a while. And you got to create a game account for your login. So not only do you need to have a server account, you want to have a game account as well. That way you can log into the actual game itself and not just the forum. There's also a list here of helpful links, their Discord and other stuff going on. Here's also something that I never really noticed until just now. They not only have it for Windows, but it appears that they have it for Mac OS as well, which is rather amazing. I did not expect to see that at all. The launcher will look something like this. You will click ready when it is ready. The game window will pop up behind the launcher. Once that happens, you are welcome to turn off the launcher. Of course, you'll need to type in your account name and your password. Once you've entered your account name and your password, you would click on login. You'll read their terms of service, and you can either reject, go back, or hit accept. Of course, if you want to play the game, you would hit accept. Here you have a list of 5 different servers to choose from: Everlasting, Indomitable, Reunion, Torchbearer, and Excelsior. Choose any one of these that you want. I don't think it makes any real difference. It's just different servers with different populations. Once you reach the character select screen, you'll see create a character over here, and you would just click on the top one to start your character creation process. Here is where you would choose science, mutation, magic, technology, or natural. What are these? These are your origins. Were you bitten by a radioactive spider? That would be science. Are you a mutant like Wolverine? That would be mutation. Are you magical like Doctor Strange? Well, that would be magic. Do you use technology to come across your powers? That could be technology. Or are you just naturally buff and you train a lot? Well, that could be, I want to say Captain America, but he was enhanced. He's a super soldier. One could say Batman. Batman might be natural origin, although he would also possibly be technology because he has a lot of toys and gadgets. So that could be a toss-up. Once you've decided on your origin, select it, click next, and here you go for playstyle. Do you want to be a tank? Do you want to do just melee damage? Do you want to do ranged damage? Do you want to do crowd control? Would you like to be support? Or do you want to have a gaggle of pets? I'm going to go here with ranged damage. And then hit next. Here you have a huge list of different options for ranged damage. A blaster. A blaster is a lot like a wizard. They are all teeth and no armor. They do a lot of damage, and they are your big gun. Although they're not so great in close quarters combat, they can get taken out pretty quick with a few claw swipes or heavy punches. You have a corruptor, which I believe to be similar to a blaster. They are also mostly teeth and very little armor. A defender is a lot like a cleric in a group. Like if you're thinking Dungeons and Dragons kind of world, or EverQuest, or any kind of fantasy MMORPG, they can usually have really powerful heals, although not all defenders are healers. Some will give you really good armor, defenses, or other really good buffs, not always related to healing. So they also have a lot of offense ability, so they could deal almost as good damage as a blaster, except they will mostly be concentrating on buffing you. Buffing the party is a defender's most important thing, so they are more dependent on grouping with others. A sentinel is sort of best of both worlds. They are sort of like a blaster with a little less damage, but they have a lot of armor of their own. If you're new to the game and you want to do some ranged damage and you're not sure if you're going to get along to group with other people, you want to solo, this could be a really good option for you. Their survivability is very high, their damage is very high, so they're going to be very self-sufficient, although they're not going to really have anything other than their DPS, their damage, to give to a group. But I would still pick a sentinel to join me anytime. They can sort of act as a secondary tank sometimes, even though they're going to be fighting from a distance in most cases. There is Arachnos Soldier. Now, these guys start off as bad guys every time, but you can change your alignment in this game. So you could be Arachnos Soldier that ends up joining the good guys. Arachnos Widow is another archetype that starts out as a bad guy, and that is something important to bring up. It's not just City of Heroes, it is City of Villains as well. You can be both hero and villain, or a hero or a villain. And so you can select these villain classes, the soldier and the widow, and later on you could change alignment. Peacebringer is like an alien that came to the planet, and they have their own strange and unique power sets. They're kind of overpowered. I don't usually play the Peacebringer or the Warshade. Peacebringer is supposed to be the good version of the alien. The Warshade is the villain version of the alien. Once you've chosen your archetype, you'll hit next. Now you choose your main powers, primary powers. You could go for like archery, assault rifle, beam rifle, dark blast, dual pistols, electric blast, energy blast, so a lot of different blasts. So let's go very basic. Let's just take fire blast. We're going to start off with flares. You'll see many of these powers are grayed out because you only get to pick one of these two to start off with. There is some information about each ability or power at the bottom of the screen, where here it says damage moderate, recharge very fast. Here under fire blast it says damage heavy, recharge fast. But I want to go with the one that recharges very fast first. And once I get to level 2, I can always choose this second one. Now you hit next. Here are your secondary powers, which for Sentinel, these will be all defensive. Do you have bio armor? Do you have dark armor? Electric armor? Energy aura? Fiery aura? And the list goes on. You might even have invulnerability or regeneration. Let's make this character completely fire related. You can go with a single theme. We're going to go with fire shield, and we're going to hit next. Now you pick your appearance, your body. Are you masculine? Are you feminine? Or are you just this big behemoth Hulk type? Let's say I choose feminine for this example. You can also play with the body sliders. Are you really, really tall, like 8 feet tall? Are you really tiny, like 4 feet? How is your physique? Are you really bulky and muscular, or super skinny? Are your shoulders broad or narrow? Are you petite or voluptuous? Do you prefer a rectangular body shape or the hourglass? Do you have broad hips or narrow hips? Are your legs short or really long? Or you could choose any one of these presets from slim, average, athletic, or heavy. Let's just go with athletic. That's sort of a nice neutral. So once we've hit next, we're over here at appearance, and you see right off the bat, you can have really, really wild appearances. I don't know why this lizard woman is in the default, but it is rather fascinating. You can also change their skin tone, so if you want to go lizard, you can go green, you can go black, you can go purple, you can go red. There's just all kinds that you could do. You can even go albino. There are custom sets here that you could choose from where it just does the whole costume for you if you're not able to come up with anything very unique yourself, or you're in a hurry. You just want to get to the gameplay. You could just choose one of these. Let's say you found a costume that suits you. You're pretty happy with this. but it's looking very, very bland. Well, let's give yourself a little bit of a tan so you don't look like an albino. Let's also go over here to colors for the whole costume. I don't know, maybe we'll try red, and then you click on the second box here instead of having it just white, and yellow. That would be a little more befitting having fire powers, right? Or we could try for like red and sort of a orangish yellow. I kind of like that as well. Let's say you're not happy with the face. You could go over here to the head. You could start changing the shape of the head. I'm kind of partial to this number 3, or 4 rather. And then you've got a big selection of faces. Like, look at this. Look at this. All these faces you can have. I kind of like the Victorian steampunk. I think it's one of their newer faces. The detail in it is so much better than some of these other ones. There's even an Asian looking face. There's retro sci-fi with a little birthmark and the saucy lips. And then there's some of these other ones. Oh, here's some youthful looking faces. It's called young face. Then we've got older faces. We've even got like this one that sort of looks like a vampire. It's called hostile face. Here's one that would be great if you want to look like you're insane or make a Harley Quinn-esque type character. You've even got some of these that look like they've been badly scarred or injured. You've got supernatural faces. You've got some where your eyes and lips have been completely stitched up. It's just completely endless. You've even got like zombie and monster faces here. And just completely horrible things like this. I mean, come on. Wouldn't you want to give this nice lady a kiss? She's ready for you. Her mouth is open and everything. There are even these weird, freaky looking robot faces. They're called clockwork. And here's the vampire one. This one's actually called Vampire. It's near the end. It's not only got the fangs, but it's got the blood dripping from the lips. So I'm just going to go with one of these more typical ones. Here we go. That looks like the face of a redhead with the freckles a little bit there. Here we're going to go for hair. And you've got, of course, tons of hairstyles to choose from. You can even be like a Medusa with snakes in your head. So let's say we're going to go with this, but we're not happy with the hair color. Again, you could change that as well. But here's the thing. Notice I tried to change the hair color and everything changed. And I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to unlink because that links everything. So you change one color, everything changes, right? So we're going to unlink it, and now we just change the hair color, and that's it. Nothing else is changing. So now, look, I'm a ginger. Another thing you could do with your face is that there's a second thing over here. You can click on that, and it gives you different mask options. So, you know how a lot of superheroes, they'll have a mask. They won't just show their face. So this is a thing like that. You know, you can have just your typical little domino mask looking thing, and you can even change the color of the mask if you want, but I think red is good. I'm happy with that. There are a few other options here that you can go with. Of course, you could completely change the look and make your own custom things and mix and match all kinds of ways. You could add different shoulder things here, like shoulder pads. And I kind of like these small ones here. I think I'm just going to go with that. You can add chest detail, which could be as simple as just an insignia or a letter. Or there's these more elaborate chest details that you can wear, like a harness, leaves, with different types of armor, a skull, chains. I don't know what that is, a tactical harness. Now, considering this character is a sentinel, I kind of like the idea that they're going to be wearing some armor. So let's just go with this. If we want, we can give them a belt too. Lots of different belts to choose from. I'm actually partial to this one because it just resembles a general utility belt. Maybe you've got like a couple of stim packs hidden in there for healing yourself when you get wounded. I don't know. You can also change your boots, your legs. You can select back detail, which gives you a cape. But not just capes, my friends. It can also give you capes with collars. Or there are backpack options or jetpack options. You can have wings, and then you can select different kinds of wings. There's bone wings, burned wings, there's celestial energy wings, there's like little tiny gimp wings, there's fairy wings, there's glittering fairy wings, there's insect wings, there's even like mechanical looking wings, and when you're flying they sort of extend like that. There are other mechanical wings. So instead of wings, I'm going to go with just capes. Oh, there's also backpacks, which some of these are just weird decorative things. Now, something interesting about some of these backpacks that look like jetpacks, when you get a flying power, or if you get a flying power, the exhaust on these packs will actually emit particles, so it looks like they're functioning. So they're a little more than just decoration. If you're an archer, you can have a quiver on your back. And I don't know what some of these other things are, but oh look, here's just a general normal looking backpack. And like with anything else, you can change the color of it. But I'm going to go here with the cape. So let's do that. And you have a bunch of different cape options. You can even have capes that have all these cool decorative things on them. If you choose just the generic long cape, you can then go over here and select a whole bunch of different options for just decorations on your cape. And I can sit here sometimes for hours going through all the different options. Oh, hey, well, we've got fire powers, so let's just go with this. And here's the thing, not only can you choose the color scheme for the outside of your cape, you could choose for the inner part of your cape as well. But I'm going to leave this alone because I do want them to match. Lastly, let's cover auras real quick. Auras are like a particle effect that surrounds your body. So different auras will look different. Sometimes you can have it on your whole body or just parts of your body. I'm going to go with the whole body. And then I'm going to go through here and select the aura I want. I'm looking for something rather specific. Ooh, here's bats. Now, red bats would look kind of weird in my opinion. So what I'm going to do is I'm clicking on the effects color, and I'm going to make the bats black just to show you that even the effects can be colored if you want. You want to have white bats, red bats, green bats, or black bats. I like the black bats. Now here is something called bioplasma. I'm going to go with the orange bioplasma because that looks like fire. It looks like I'm on fire. A lot like a Human Torch kind of a thing. But I'm also going to take a quick look at some of these other ones here. You can have butterflies flying around you, just a FYI. You can have electricity, which looks pretty cool. You can have fairy dust. You can have feathers for some reason. Now, here's one called Fiery, but I really don't like this one. I think it's a little bit too much. I like the other one a little better. Here's Fireflies. Here's Fleas, which I find completely revolting. Who wants to be around the hero that is completely infested with fleas? Then there's Flies. Wow. When was the last time you washed your costume, buddy? That is revolting. Gaseous? Are you farting a lot? Because it sure looks like it. Ghosts? You can be haunted. Haunted by ghosts. You can just have a glow about you. There's a glowing aura. Halo. And leaves. Leaves are cool if you want to do something fairy-like or nature-related. There's magnetic if you want to appear like you're constantly attracting the junk around you. There's microbial, which also kind of gives me the willies. Mycelium, or mycelium, which I guess if you want to be the fungus among us. Pixels. Pixels is pretty cool, but I'm going to go to the fire. Here's another one that actually looks pretty cool. It's called Omega, and it too resembles fire or flames. And I might actually go with that, guys. What do you think? So let's say this is the finished hero. Let's hit next. Oh, wait. Before we hit next, if you really like a costume decision and you want to save it for later use, you can go over here to save. And you can make a name for your costume. Let's just call this one Fire Lady. And it will just save it to your local hard drive. And then later on, you can hit load and you can load that costume. This can be very, very useful because let's say you want to just change one or two pieces of your costume in the future. Well, it can be very easy to load up this costume later on. You actually get a chance to have different costumes. Actually very early on in the game, and I might show you that real quick. So let's hit next. In here, you can actually choose to customize your powers. You see here, this is sort of a demo of what your powers look like when you use them. And for some reason, they're like a burgundy and a blue color, which I don't think makes a whole lot of sense for fire. So here I'm going to go match colors across all powers. I'm going to select that. And there's multiple options here. You can have dark, bright. I'm going to go with bright fire. And I think I'm going to select orange and a bright yellow here. And I think that makes a very convincing fire look. Please feel free to tell me if you think I'm wrong, but I feel pretty right about that. Next, we can look at our secondary powers, and we can see what the fire shield looks like. We can also see what some of these other ones look like. And I'm going to make sure I go with bright for that as well, because I want the powers to match, because I'm silly that way. I like things to match. So I'm pretty satisfied with everything here, the colors and all that stuff. So I'm going to hit next. And here is the big part. We got to come up with a name for this heroine. What are we going to call them? Well, I'm not coming up with anything unique or original right now, so we're going to try Fire Lady. There's a few other things you could do here. You can add your battle cry. Again, my choice for battle cry is not really inspired, but I'm just trying to rush through this. Normally, I would think about this for a couple of minutes, but hey, burn baby burn, why not? It's a classic, right? And then your character description. A lot of people will choose character description to put a little bit of an origin story on here. But I don't know, let's just go with I like to see things burn. Of course, if you really want to take a few minutes and consider a backstory, you can, but these things are optional. Battle cry and your character description are optional. You can always add them later on in game. That's not a problem. So once we're happy with everything, let's click next. Here we have, do you wish to play the tutorial? You can hit yes or no. For this example, I'm just going to press no. Do you want to be a hero or a villain? With burn baby burn, and I like to see things burn, you would think I'd go villain, but I'm going to go for hero. And then it says complete character creation and enter the game. You want to hit yes. Of course, there's already some uninspired hero out there named Fire Lady. So let's just go with Flaming Betty, okay? Hopefully no one's called themselves Flaming Betty quite yet. Gonna be a hero, and we're gonna complete the character creation and enter the game. Huzzah! No one called themselves Flaming Betty. Here we go. This is the typical greeting screen. Once you get in there, you might have a few things like badge earned or powers or something like that. I normally don't see that many badges appear as soon as I zone in for the very first time. Click OK. Here's a little thing that says, do you want to be a helper or do you want people to help you? I usually click none. But if you want people to help you, you could say, help me, and maybe someone will show up and give you a hand. A lot of these windows can be adjusted for size. The chat window is one that I usually try to extend a little bit to make a little bit larger. You can also customize some things, like over here, I can add a tab if I want to say LFG, which is often used for looking for group. Over here, I'm going to put looking for group filter, add. I'm also going to go up here to broadcast, and I'm going to hit add there, because a lot of people will look for group either in broadcast or LFG. I'll hit OK. Now I have my own custom tab, and this will show all the chat up here in this window here of people looking for group. Likewise, if I want to find players to join me, I can click on over here, this channel, looking for group, and I can say, you know, hero, level 1, looking for team. Level 1 group, recruiting more players. There are also some trials that you can start even at level 1. So you can say, DFB team, blue side, looking for more, or something like that. You'll find out what DFB is later. It's actually just short for Death from Below, and it is sort of a trial. And you see here, there's already some people looking for group. Something I want to remind you, especially if you're new, always, once you're done looking for group, click on either local or team over here. So your typical chats will be either to your team or locally, and you're not broadcasting everything you say to the entirety of the game. You might not want to do that, because they might start saying, hey, you realize you're saying that to everybody, right? So here is Lady Liberty. She is the trainer. She is the one that teaches you your new powers. And remember when I said you can change your costume in the game? Well, from levels 1 through 6, you get the option to add extra costumes to yourself. Let's click here and say customize your appearance. You start off with 6 costume slots. 6, man! That is plenty. So let's say you want to have a secret identity. Let's go down here to the very bottom one. And we want to choose something that looks more civilian. Well, after some tinkering and messing around with all these different settings, I came up with this. I think this looks pretty normal and average, and not like the typical vigilante at all. So once we have that, we're going to click on next. And of course, they still have their powers. But now we have this look over here. And then you'll say, but I really like my superhero costume. How do I get it back? Well, you click over here on the upper right where it says menu, and you go down here to costumes, and this window can actually be moved around too if you like. And you can go back to your default costume where you have your fire and everything like that. Maybe you did what I did and you chose this aura with the fire, but maybe sometimes the fire aura gets annoying, or somebody might say, oh, I've got a crappy video card and a sucky computer. Can you please turn off that aura? It is lagging me, which no one's ever said to me, but I can picture it happening because it's happened on a couple of other games before. So let's click here on Miss Liberty. Let's go to Customize Appearance. And let's make a version of her that does not have the aura. So we're going to over here. We're going to click on Effects. And instead of Omega, we're going to scroll back up here to the top. And we're just going to select None. And now we have absolutely no auras at all. And then we can just go and click Next, Next, Next. And now we have a version of ourselves without the aura. There you go. Now, here's another cool thing that you can do with your costume and your appearance. Let's go here. Let's select Costume. And now we're going to go over down here where it says Select Costume Change Emote. And this is pretty amazing. Like all the little bits of detail they put into this. This is sort of what's going to happen when you change costumes. Because, you know, if you've ever watched anime or some other superhero genre type stuff, sometimes there's this big old transition from changing into your costume. And while this is going to be anime where they end up naked, changing into their costume, because that wouldn't really be PG, right? There's a whole bunch of other cool things. And one of my favorites, especially for fire related, is Nuke. So let's select Nuke. And let's go from the non-fiery costume version to the fiery one. And there you go. Boom! And you explode into your fiery badass self. And that's going to happen for anything. It's even going to happen for when you change into your regular self as well. Which, you know, hey, maybe you're releasing all that energy so you become your mild-mannered self, right? And we could choose another costume type here as well. Oh, that just activated the whole thing all over again. So let's go back over here to Miss Liberty just one more time. And select, go to Costume and Appearance again. And we're going to select this slot. And I thought, hey, let's do a totally different kind of costume look for them in case I get tired of that one. And I didn't want to put the whole thing here where I'm picking every piece because I want you guys to go through and learn that yourselves. I think it would be great, not to mention I kind of cheated. I had some of these saved already, so that's why I didn't do it. So once we chose our costume, we're going to go here and look. Now we have a very different costume look. If you go over here and you look at costumes, you had this one that was more armored and stuff, and now this one just looks more like spandex. Not to mention I'm wearing these snazzy platform shoes now. One more thing I will go into though is over here there is an NPC called Start Vendor. You can click on them and you can select Show Me Your Wares. And this NPC sells all kinds of amazing things for free. Absolutely free. Well, most of it's free anyway. And they do sell some things that you have to pay influence for. Influence is the in-game currency. So first let's click on Prestige Enhancements. You have these that are completely free, so let's click and claim each one. There are 5. Claim, 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 and claim. And you're going to say, well, I just claimed them all and I don't see them anywhere. Well, these are enhancements, so they're going to go in your enhancement window, and that you open here. And you see, here's all 5 that we just claimed. Now you want to manage your enhancements. Click Manage, and you get this whole new UI over here. And all 5 of these will increase damage of your powers, and you'll come across different enhancements in your gameplay that will have different effects. You can read everything that it does, and not only do these 5 enhancements increase your damage, but they increase your recharge rate as well, which is fabulous. That means that your power will be able to be triggered more often. We're going to grab this one here by left clicking and holding, and then you could drag and drop it into this slot that goes green, that is your flares. That is your offensive abilities. So you want to drop that in there. I'm going to grab one more, and I'm going to drag it over here under Brawl. That is a basic punching attack that every hero gets no matter what archetype or playstyle they are. So now I can punch a little stronger and faster. I can also use my flares a little more often. We will have to eventually get something for the fire shield, which is a damage resistance. So we will need a damage resistance enhancement to put there. I will do one fight really quick, but I'm going to go over here to this guy. He's another guy you want to talk to. His name is Matthew. Click on him by left clicking with your mouse on him, and then you can ask about missions. He is a contact. This is how you get your missions in the game. So ask about missions, and then click on the prompts. And there we go. We have our very first mission. It says, take the fight to the Hellions, defeat 5 Hellions. And if you look around, you'll see a yellow arrow. You see that right there? That tells you you have to run 255 yards to get to your destination. That is where the quest is. So we're running. Of course, the controls are WASD like any video game. You can also run with the mouse. And here we go. We got some Hellions. This is close enough. You don't have to be right where the arrow is, just where you start seeing the enemies. And that's where they are. So we're going to turn on our fire shield because we want that. And see, the fire shield also emits its own particle effect. So it might be overkill to have some of those other particles. And I kind of forget about that when it comes to some of these powers. They have their own particle effects. So we have our shield up. We also have our brawl. Here's another thing you can do. If you hold control and you left click on a power, you'll see it highlighted with a green ring. This is basically auto attack. Auto attack means anytime I'm in range, this power will get triggered. You can also rearrange your powers in your power bar by left click and hold and move it. And I'm going to move this down because it's already going to be auto attacking. I don't really need to be clicking on it. So I'm moving it there. Here's something called vulnerability. I don't really know what it is. And I don't want to know because it sounds bad. It sounds bad to be vulnerable, honestly. So I don't want to be vulnerable. So I'm going to move some of these powers like I mentioned. This is another power that everybody gets. It's called throwing knives. But let me sort of reiterate that not everybody gets throwing knives. Everybody gets this little secondary power, but for someone who is natural or nature origin, they'll probably get throwing knives. Because, hey, everybody can have throwing knives. If you're a mutant, you'll get an attack called mutagen. If you're science-based, you might get, or if you're technology-based, I think you get a taser. Science-based, I'm not really sure what you get, but you see where I'm going here. If you're magic-based, you get like a charm, which is a little spell that does some damage. So enough talking. Let's go beat these guys up. They're criminals anyway. Even though I have not observed them doing any crime at all, I'm here to put a stop to them not doing crime. Because it's a game, guys. So here we go. We're gonna let ourselves do a punch. Okay, so we threw a punch. So yeah, I'm basically burning these guys alive. So I'm kind of feeling horrible about myself. So there we go. We took some of these guys out. You'll see we were awarded these little squares over here. This is inspirations. And you'll see here, you can toggle your inspirations window on and off. When the letters turn red in a certain window, that means that is full. If I use one of these, like left click on this, luck, that will increase my luck, and now it's gone green, meaning it's not full anymore. Now, sometimes all the gang members will try to gang up on you, and you may want to put some distance between you and them so you're less likely to die. And there we go, I leveled up. A nice thing about leveling up is you go back to full health and endurance. Endurance is like mana. It lets you use your abilities. You also get all these little buffs, because this is sort of like your buff bar right here. And something I like to do when I've just leveled up is I like to keep fighting for a little bit, because I want to take advantage of all these buffs, because they not only increase your damage, your defense, but your accuracy as well, and your luck. So I'm going to just keep fighting until these buffs start to fade, because hey, I'm gaining a little more XP, right? Even though I've already taken out the 5 gang members that I was supposed to by my contact, it's just a way to take advantage of one of the game mechanics for a little bit. It's like, hey, yes, and now the buffs are going away, so I'm gonna leave. But I might as well finish this one guy off. So you see what I meant about a sentinel being very hardy, because yes, I have my own armor. I was not beaten as much. You'll notice if you decide to play a blaster, you'll do more damage, but you're also going to take a lot more damage when they hit you. I had my armor going, so I did not take nearly that much damage. We click on our contact, and we ask about more available missions, and now we have a second mission. But we also did gain a level, so let's go and level up real quick. And I think that's where I'm going to end the video for the day. Here we go. We talk to Miss Liberty, and we're going to train up to a new level of power. Train up to next level. And here is the power selection, as you saw in the character creation, but you have a few more powers unlocked. So we can go to Fire Blast, or we can go to Molten Embrace. Molten Embrace is one of our secondary abilities. Molten Embrace superheats your attacks, increasing the damage they inflict. In addition, all your attacks will have a chance to inflict fire damage over time. So yeah, that's pretty cool, but I think I just want to have a second attack, a second fire attack for now, instead of that. When you reach, I think it's either level 5 or somewhere thereabouts, you have access to a third power set, or like tertiary power sets is what I call them sometimes. And that will include travel powers such as flight and teleportation, or super speed, or you might get powers like leadership, which helps you be more of a leader by protecting and buffing your group and things like that. So you could try all of those, and once you've selected your power, you're happy with it, you'll hit finish, and then your powers are locked in. You'll see here it just said you got a temporary power, so I guess it's a reward for reaching level 2. And you see it over here, it is a jetpack. So I can fly now. Let's go over here, let's hit jetpack, and there you go. I have an obnoxiously brightly colored jetpack, and I can fly. Keep in mind, this is a temporary power. It's only going to last for a short time, so don't waste it. I'm going to land and toggle it off. If you right click on the power, you'll see it will last for 29 minutes because I've used some seconds of it. So basically it starts off for 30 minutes. You have 30 minutes of use, and then it is gone forever. But you can buy more. Here is the walk ability, and walk just means you're going to walk. The only real use this has is for role-playing. If you want to pretend, look, I'm a civilian. Let's actually get into our civilian clothes here. Costume. Civilian outfit. Let's turn off our shield as well, so we're not a civilian on fire. And there we go. Look, we're walking. We are just a civilian. I'm a normal person. I do not have superpowers at all. La 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 la. Look at me walk. Why am I strutting? I'm strutting like I have something to prove. It is kind of funny. The walk ability is kind of funny. So if you're wondering how I'm doing this, by the way, you hold your left mouse button and you can actually zoom around your character just like that. So what's funny is my name hasn't changed. It still says Flaming Betty. So you would think that the name would change to just Betty, like, I don't know, Betty Burns or something. Betty Burns. You know, like Burns from The Simpsons, but it's a Betty. That's her last name is Burns. Anyway, so that is the walk ability. You could turn that off at any time. So I'm going to move the walk ability up here. I'm going to move my jetpack up over here with my other movement abilities. If you're wondering to, like right now, yeah, I'm running, but I'm running pretty slow for a hero. This here is the sprint ability. That is your general run speed. But we get a second one called athletic run. And if you have both of these toggled at the same time, they sort of stack. And now you're running like you have 2 run buffs, which you do. You have 2 run buffs on your character, and you're running very, very quickly. So I really like getting around this way with both of these being active at the same time. I'm going to quickly return to the start vendor here because there were a few things that I did not cover. So not only do you get these prestige enhancements, but you can get some prestige powers as well. So let us scroll through here. And there's something called Sands of Mu, which you can claim. That is a punching attack that does a great amount of damage. Okay? I really like the Sands of Mu. Let's say you're a melee type, but you want to have one range attack that's pretty good. Well, you can go over here to Black Wand, original bonus. You can claim that. That gives you a range attack. It's basically like you have a large black magic wand that casts spells on your targets. Here you have a couple of pets that you can buy that will cast a buff on you. I'm a big fan of getting some of these over here. Like the fairy pet looks cool because it looks like a little fairy. There's a oscillating pet. There's a wisp. There's a shield drone. I kind of like the drones. I'm going to go find the red wisp actually because that one will sort of maybe look like fire and it will match my fiery themes, right? So let's go red wisp. Here is a free power. It's called Jump Pack. So let's buy that. And there actually is a jetpack too here somewhere that you can buy. I mean, some of these are also will let you fly, like the Void Skiff, Rocket Board, Flying Carpet, but those cost 1,000 or 1,000,000? It looks like it might be 1,000,000 influence. That is an awful lot. I don't want to spend that much, right? It seems a little bit steep, man. But there's one over here that only cost like 5,000, which really isn't bad at all. So if you find that one, you can go here under travel, and that will sort of narrow it down a lot to make it so much easier to find the travel abilities. And for some reason, I'm unable to find it. Of course, because I'm filming and, you know, rule of law says that I can't find anything easily when I'm filming because they want you to look like a silly person. You can go over here too on utility, and there's these other powers here, some of which are very, very useful. Inner inspiration is one of my favorites. Let's say you have no inspirations at all. If you click on this, it'll provide you instantly with 3 inspirations. There is Mystic Fortune, which lets you tell the fortune of your teammate. It cannot be used on yourself, but you can use it to buff others, and it gives them random buffs. There is Secondary Mutation, which will buff you and only you, but on occasion it will backfire and turn you into a little goblin with almost no offensive ability at all, and you're usually hating life for the 1 to 2 minutes that you are stuck in that little goblin form. Lastly, let's cover temporary powers that are offered by this person. This might interest a lot of you. You go down here and you get XP bonus. These are free also, mind you. So you can get a 25% XP bonus, 50% XP bonus, double XP, and these are stackable. So for each level that you buy, you can buy it for, I think, up to 4 hours. You could buy up to 4 of them because each one lasts about an hour. So, oh, it says actually you could purchase up to 8 hours, but I think I've only seen up to 4, so I don't know. There is a drawback to this though, because if you're getting a double XP, you're getting 0 influence. So there is a drawback. You're not gaining any influence for your missions, and influence is the in-game currency. So it doesn't really always pay to get double XP. Yes, you level up a lot faster, but you get no influence. You'll still get some enhancements that might drop, and you could sell those for influence. You'll also still receive your salvage, which also can be sold to other players in the little bazaar store or consignment shop, as it's better called here, but you don't get influence. There are some other cool powers that you can buy, like this one here for 5,000. It is a resuscitator, which will revive you if you happen to fall in battle, which is kind of nice to be able to revive yourself if you fall. No, note though that sometimes those resuscitators will cripple you for a short period of time. And over here under temporary powers, I finally found it, where you can get jetpacks for 5,000 influence right here. So it's under temporary powers, not under the travel powers. And you see here, 5,000 influence will get you 30 minutes of a jetpack. So if you do not have ability to fly yet, because all your attack powers and defense powers take priority 1, as they should, then you want to have a jetpack, because it does help a lot to keep up with your party members when going to missions. And that is going to be all for today, guys. I'm done here. I know I kind of sped through character creation, but that is something that's best explored by you, because I don't know what kind of character you're going to want to make, if it's going to be a melee type, a range type, or any of that. Honestly, I would say for a beginner to make a range damage type, because then you could sort of hit things from a distance. If you're used to EverQuest playstyle, for example, a ranged character will let you pull things from a large group of monsters or enemies or villains, so you don't have to encounter and attack and fight all of them at the same time. So some of that strategy will carry over into this game. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please leave the video a thumbs up. If you disliked the video for whatever reason, you can leave a thumbs down. I prefer the thumbs up because it helps me a lot. It helps me get noticed by the algorithm. Notice me, senpai. Notice me. If you like what I do here, you'd like to support me and support the channel, please subscribe if you've not already subscribed. Or better yet, you could join the channel as a channel member. Channel members get special perks and privileges, like a link to join the private Discord. YouTube membership's not your thing? Check the links below the video for a link to our Patreon. Patreon patrons get similar perks, like a link to join the private Discord. Both YouTube members and Patreon members also get access to member-only content. Yeah, there are some videos that I've made that are not available to the general public on YouTube, but Patreon patrons and YouTube members can see them under the membership tabs. You can also leave a super thanks. A super thanks is like a little donation that says, hey, thanks for the video. It was helpful, informative, and entertaining. We appreciate you. I want to thank all my current YouTube channel members and Patreon patrons for your continued support of the channel. Thank you very much for being members. You're awesome. You inspire me to strive for better things and to create better content. Thank you all. And thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. Have a great day and a wonderful tomorrow.